This is Scott Shellady'w with the CME Group floors on May the 7th. We had a decent day in the grain room, pretty much going to be indicative of how I think the general market took this news over the weekend. If you would have got up on a bed in the middle of the night last night, you would have thought the world was getting close to coming to an end. The Dow was down, 3 digits, 100 and something points. We had the 10-year down to 183, 182, and we also had the Euro cross at 129 and then change. So those three things really kind of added up to a risk-off day to get started. However, ending the day, everything's kind of come back to no big deal unchanged. We had corn unchanged. We had beans down about 10. They took the weather over the weekend as good, so are bountiful for what was put in the ground. So beans took that on the chin, down 10. Corn unchanged. Wheat up about 3, and I think that going forward we're going to have to keep an eye on that Citigroup Economic Surprise Index, because that's going to give you an idea about how to market your crops, because I tell you, the last 2 years, about this time of year, we've started to run into some headwinds. And I think that at the beginning of it's just started with the Greek and French elections, and I think that those things are going to be a big wedge will be driven between them and Germany, and that's going to be something that will play out for the next 6 months, and we will have some more defaults and some more negative news come that way. Number 2. 2.2% GDP, of which 1.6% of it was auto sales. That just doesn't cut it. So we can't be pouring this amount of money into our economy and only getting a 0.6 GDP. So I'm very disappointed on that. Now, have we all forgotten about last Friday either? That jobs report was horrible. So not being too inflammatory, we don't have a lot of good news on the horizon, and that's also kind of affected the way that these agricultural markets trade. So going forward for the next 6 months, we've got a very rocky road, maybe even the next 3 months. This summer is going to be difficult, I think. Keep that in mind when you're marketing the crops. I think that we might really have some issues because that weather is good for the beans, but I don't know if it's quite good for the corn. Corn was unchanged today, didn't really know what to do, and I think that maybe if we do have some supply line issues where that John McIntosh from Rand has got any truth to what he's talking about, there could be some tightness here, and that could be kind of going against the rest of the trade here, which could be very interesting. So I think that I want to watch that corn market for the next 4 weeks, because I think that something there could be brewing. So all in all, horrible news out of our economy here, I think, with that GDP and our jobs number. We've got some big cracks showing in Europe. We haven't begun to speak about China yet, because I think that they're starting to catch the cold that we've already gone through. So it's hard to find some good news out there, and I think that going forward for the next 3 months is going to be very rocky. So just to recap the ag room, corn unchanged, wheat up a little bit, 3 cents, beans down 10. They took the weather as good. But I'd like to see where we end up this week, because I think it'll be interesting to see how the economy starts to shape up against a worsening European situation. I'm Scott Shellady'w on the CME Group floors here in Chicago.